Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a live stream again, I suppose. Uh, I know. I just came up with something, we actually, considering that I did a video earlier, I actually came to the conclusion that the AirForce Player app is actually better for the helicopter, at least for my joystick, when it comes to helicopters, well, as I just said. But when it comes to airplanes and that kind of stuff, the XPForce app, or the was it? Yeah, XPForce app. That's the one. Is actually better in terms of fidelity because it's two different things, and it might be because they haven't fully developed it. I have no idea. It's just I am in no way sponsored by any one of the guys. I've just figured that I'm gonna let you guys decide. Obviously, the first one, AirForce Player app, is actually 100% free, whereas the other one has a free demo, but you will have to pay for it if you want to have the full function. So having that said though, I am going to show you, because you could see in the last video how I struggled to stabilize my flight, and that's just not very ideal with a old joystick where the dead zone is pretty much gone. So, well, you definitely need the motor to compensate for it. But I mean, considering how I can fly now with this thing, it's just a game changer, Like now I actually use the AirForce Player app instead for the helicopter. Wow, I mean, it's such a different. Have a look at it. I mean, I'm not way an expert at this, but at least it doesn't wobble everywhere, and I actually have control of things. Well, somewhat. I mean, coming from where I'm coming. As you can see, we are flying over St. Bath. I'm not going to say the full name of it because I'm just going to say it the wrong way. Barthélemy? Is that the name of it? I have no idea. We still have all the labels on, so that way I don't have to say something wrong in terms of where I'm at and what's in front of me and what's beneath me and all that stuff, But as you can see, it's such a smooth ride compared to the last stream where I used the XPForce, which probably works fine, but it has so much more settings that you have to do to make it just right. And I have absolutely no idea what settings I should touch even, so I have to look into it more. But just to have it from a like a default standpoint, like when you don't want to spend time on settings and just want to go for it, then obviously this one is not giving you that fidelity, obviously, when it comes to the force feedback, but at least it gives you something, so that at least you have a smoother experience, especially if you have an oversensitive force feedback joystick. You don't want to have to deal with dead zones and sensitivity of the joystick. I just reset the joystick back to default, actually, in terms of settings and sensitivity and all that stuff, which is the best way to do it, especially if you have a software that compensates for that wobbliness and jerkiness and all that stuff that comes along with vibrations in the stick. So, well, I mean, as you can see, it's actually working really good. I am surprised how well it works. We're going to play around, obviously, by the airfield. We're most likely going to see other players, because we do play with other players. Flying around the island here a little bit, having a look, Live weather, live time. Should be what it is right now. And time here in Sweden is about 1:52 p.m. in the afternoon. So, and it is a Wednesday. Oh yeah, it's a Wednesday, and the 30th, the last of November. Next, tomorrow is going to be December, and we're going to be yet another day closer to Christmas and New Year's Eve. It's going to be, I mean, it's been a very eventful year, as we all know, with everything going on around the world. And, well, I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's sometimes you're pretty much helpless, like in terms of what's happening in the world. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad that we're all are alive here, and hope that people are gonna, be alright over time. You know what war I'm talking about and all that stuff. But I'm not gonna say any names or, you know, all that. But not just that war, but in general, anything that goes on in the world. Like the other day, my wife actually asked me, "What do you think about the world? Like in 10 years ahead, what do you think is gonna happen to the world?" And just saying that to begin with pretty much says it all. Like what's on everyone's mind by now is that we have the instability of things, the conflict going on, the energy crisis. Not just due to the wars, but also with global warming and all that stuff. Like it's just a lot of things on our mind nowadays. And I can imagine that a lot of people are being extra depressed, and like it's a tough world, that's for sure. And I am in a way concerned. I mean, obviously for the kids of today, they're gonna have to deal with all this crap, basically. Although I am pretty confident that we are, as a humanity, gonna probably prevail, but with today's technology, we should be able to adapt. It's just that we've definitely had a couple of years, a couple of decades actually, where it's been, prosperous, calm. Although we do have obviously World War One, World War Two, and the Cold War and all that. But still, though, I mean, it was at least sort of like, especially during the 80s, I'd say, when I grew up, the golden years, sort of say, some of them, or the last golden years even. I don't know. I just something that came across my mind, when I was talking about, I don't know what just got me into it. But hey, it is what it is, right? I mean, it's just something that is on my mind constantly, whether I like it or not. Although I try to, I mean, obviously you try to keep up with the news and all that, but at the same time, like sometimes it's just better not to read the news, because there's very little you can do about it. Whatever goes on around the world, unless you're a politician or like, really need to know because of your job or whatever. But it's just so much negativity. It's just it's better to focus on what's good in your life instead. I think try to be positive, and positive thoughts and positive attitude goes a long way in a very dark period of this time, sort of like for this year. Actually, that's how we got into it. So I think that a mix of both, but just maybe a little bit more on the positive side, to just spread it out, like pay forward, the positivity, so that way we can actually influence the world in the long run. I think just being positive and have hope, for whatever comes. And together, obviously, we are gonna hopefully make it, But the odds are not really in our favor, that's for sure. As you can see, we did land fairly smooth, much easier. I am wearing a fighter. I'm gonna change that. I am wearing a fighter pilot uniform, and that's a cool thing. We can actually change that. See, I think it's in MISC. Yeah, here it is. I am going to change to civilian one. Alright, let's see. What will I change it? Is that it? Nah. There we go. I'm just going to be a regular guy. Co-pilot will be a regular person. I'm going to put it like, I don't know. And there we go. And that one, I have no idea, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. Why not? Much better. That's the cool part. You can actually change your avatar. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't sit here in a full G-suit in a school helicopter. No way, Jose. Alright, I am just gonna try the chat, actually see that it works. And I'm just gonna type in here. And that should do it, and it does work. Alright, so today's topic, guys, is actually we're gonna play around and see how much we can swing the helicopter around and really play with it, now that we have a little bit more control of it, instead of just swaying around like crazy and bobbing and wobbling and all that stuff. Because I am using, like I said initially, a third-party app called AirForce Player, version 1.0.2, I think it is. I have put all the links down below in the descriptions. And I did use, in the previous stream, I did use the XPForce, which is great for the airplane, but it doesn't seem to work too well, or it just requires a lot more settings and setup to work better in a helicopter. But as far as just, you know, plug it in and sort of like start it up and program wise and just hopping and flying without having to deal with setups, this one is perfect for the job. Just no complications at all. You just plug it in, it's 100% free. But if you want that extra fidelity, obviously you want to go for the XPForce app. Also put down in the description below, you should see it well, down there somewhere. And let's start playing around and see what we can do. I mean, obviously having a force feedback joystick is really a rare thing nowadays, I think, because I mean you don't find those anymore on the shelves anymore. I mean they just don't necessarily sell them anymore like they did before. And so support for them also deteriorated because of I think it was patent issues, because of Logitech having them first, and then Microsoft Sidewinder Force or whatever, Microsoft bought it, I think, and then you know, somewhere along the way it just died out, the interest for it. And now, I mean, obviously today, where there's obvious to have force feedback is obviously in racing sims and that kind of stuff. But the sim world for flights and sim flights and all that stuff, obviously. I mean, today we have, for the most part, fly-by-wire, so you wouldn't feel things the way you do in a car per se in the same way, but you still have some sort of a resistance to sort of give you an indication as to what's going on, that stuff. And then of course you fly in a wide aircraft, but you know, like, it's just not just that, it's just also sometimes you want to feel those oh, that's another player. Sometimes you want to feel those forces, you know, like that you're not sitting in an actual plane or an aircraft. You definitely want to have that feel as to what's going on, the bumps on the tarmac and all that stuff, you know, like. And so that's where the force feedback also comes in. I'd say it's a game changer for me, at least in terms of switching over to my old Logitech joystick coming from the hard spring, hard resistant Thrustmaster Warthog stick. I mean, it's just two different sticks. Obviously the other one is more highly built quality, obviously, and it's a replica as well of the Warthog joystick. But you know, sometimes it just even though this one is definitely more plastic, but it's held up for well, I'd say easily 20 years by now, and it still works. It's just that you know, without the proper support for force feedback, it's actually almost impossible to fly this steady without force feedback working for the joystick. You need to have force feedback because it lacks that spring, and even if you can put your dead zones in, it's still going to lack that spring resistance and centering itself, sort of like. And then even then, it's going to be almost impossible to fly. So there is that. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, I can definitely control the thing now. I mean, obviously, still need a lot of practicing, but at least this way I can practice, as opposed to the previous stream where I just wobbled everywhere, and it felt like I was flying in a tornado constantly. Whereas now, it's very smooth. But smooth, and I try to land here. Trying to learn how to focus using my peripheral view on the ground, and you want to lift up your eyesight, not hit tail. I don't want to tail strike the ground there to my right. Come on. Got to compensate on my torque pedal to the right. Right, left skid, right skid heavy, and right pedal helicopter. At the road I want to turn to the right, actually. You gotta... Is that it? Yeah, you gotta push the right to push the counterway. There you go. Alright. I mean, it's not a smooth landing in that way, but at least we landed without breaking the thing. And you wanna make sure you feel the drag. That's why I gotta practice on this thing. And try to hover. Come on. There we go. Try to find a nice transition there, where you actually hover. All the assists are obviously off. I wouldn't have it any other way. Always like to have it as realistic as possible within whatever sim I am flying or driving. So usually I try to go with as hard as it can ever be. But yeah, let's just fly down there and see who's actually down here. Let's play around with the helicopter, see what we can do. Do a little bit of a show off, because obviously if you have assist on and you're trying to bank the helicopter and doing the stuff I'm going to do now, with assist on, that's just going to do some weird stuff for you. But why you don't want to have that on if you're going to go all the way out with actual torque pedal or rudder pedal from my, well, actually for helicopter it would be called torque pedals. And as you yoke is a cyclic in a helicopter. So that's another plane. We're about to take off, taxiing. And he's throttling up. See if I can drag him, race him. Nah, he's gonna be faster. That thing is fast. That's a TBM. Man, if I had a TBM, oh, I'd be flying everywhere. That thing is a monster for a turboprop. So fast. Have a pretty decent range as well. I actually follow this guy who flies them every day. Definitely working for somebody. I don't think... I mean, that thing is very expensive to buy. Even used. And by the years obviously being more rare, I mean, they do produce them still, obviously they do, but you know, it's not just like producing cars, it's nothing like that. You can't compare that, but for the most part, I'd say most aircraft in the air, when it comes to general avionics, or general, yeah, pretty much, those are usually used aircraft. I mean, usually from the 70s, 60s, even 50s sometimes. But the difference, obviously, with airplanes is that they are usually updated more frequently than a car is, and obviously better maintained due to safety requirements and all that stuff. And it's much cheaper. Why, you know, like, and that's the thing as well. Actually, coming to think about manufacturing stuff, you know, like you build things to last, and that's how it should be, instead of building things to be replaced within a certain amount of period, like, well, certain product manufacturers do deliberately. You know, it just, you don't build stuff anymore like it used to be. Like it used to last for years, and it I think fairly recently in Europe it was actually forbidden now to sell products, illegal to sell products that wouldn't last for a certain amount of years, because well, obviously being environmental, well, not being very environmental friendly in our model. The business model is just bad for the environment for sure, because we do throw away a lot more garbage that way, you know, if you have to buy new stuff every year or every second year or even. But that's gonna be interesting to see though with the future, you know. Coming back to the question my wife asked me, what is to be of the world within 10 years? In 10 years, that 10 years flies by so fast, you know. Let's see if that guy took off. Now that's, I don't know, I mean, that's one way of slowing down the helicopter fast. You commit to whatever area you want to land at, and you just swing around. Now, obviously, the easiest way to swing around would be to, I'm gonna experiment, because this one wants to, it's a right rudder, or right pedal operated, so, I mean, you have to apply right pedal quite often, or quite much actually, to compensate for its torque. Obviously, American helicopters would be a left pedal instead, for the most part. At least that the difference between the French ones. This is a French manufacturer, and it's the opposite way around. But I'm thinking that as we throttle down, it's probably easier to twist to the left, because as we throttle down, it kind of does it by itself. Well, not really, I mean, but it just twists to the left or to the right when I throttle down that much. So let's see. Alright, let's pick up some speed and see if we can land on that grass field there. At full speed coming in. Needless to say, if we have full control with this force feedback app, which is part of the topic, you know. Oh, let's see. You know what? I completely forgot something here. Wow, okay, I completely forgot. Did I forget? I did. Oh crap. Hang on, guys. Real quick. I'm gonna fix something here. Real quick. We are gonna go for this one. I'm just gonna completely forgot to announce the video to my community. There we go, and see, can I'm just gonna do one thing here real quick. It'll be quick. I just need to do it. Come on now. Oh yeah, I can. Okay. That doesn't matter. I'll fix that later. Alright, so back to the flying. Back to the flying. I'm sorry guys, I just had to do something real quick. Trying to get used to the whole idea of streaming, but I mean, if you forget something, it's gonna definitely come back biting you in the ass. So, our plan was to land at that football grass area. Oh, what am I saying, guys? Soccer field. There we go. Or is it a football? We'll see. American football maybe, but I don't know. We're coming in. We're gonna try to swing around using our left pedal. See if that helps slowing us down and coming in on speed. If we got the fidelity with this. not butt smooth, but at least, well, I wouldn't say that's precision, but at least within crash, you know. And like I said, any landing you walk away from is a good landing. Let's try it again, I mean, but try it somewhere else, somewhere tighter. But as you can see, the smoothness is there now. It's much more controllable, and it's much more enjoyable for you guys to watch as well, not me not swaying around everywhere. Do we have any players? Oh, we have a player trying to take off in a commercial jet here. That's going to be interesting. Let's have a look. If it will make it. Now, Airbus, I wouldn't bet too much on it. It's actually a 380. No, you're not going to make it. I don't think you're going to make it. Are you going to take off? I mean, I can do it in a Dreamliner, but a Dreamliner at least you have full control of, as opposed to an Airbus. It's just everything is automated. It can be done, but you need to be sort of almost dry empty with. Ah, here we go. Oh yeah, he's pulling hard, and he crashed. Oh yeah, that's a hard crash. He's not going to be able to take up with that thing. I think he's even too wide for the whole strip. And he's back. I can hear him. Yeah, he's. Oh yeah. And he planted himself amongst the trees. That's funny. You definitely have collision off. I mean, collision is there, but it's just not crashing him. Alright, let's try something cool here. Gonna be a little bit wobbly here, but I gotta practice, you know, trying to fly around these poles. Now that we have control of the helicopter, or somewhat, you know. Wow, that was dangerous. That was close, and we have no idea what's behind it. But there are actually helicopters today with mounted reverse cameras, so that at least sometimes you have to go reverse when you take off. And that's the worst thing you can do in a helicopter, because obviously I can imagine the G-forces are going to be, well, not extreme, but it's going to trick your mind a little bit. But as you can see, force feedback really is the thing. It does work in Microsoft Flight Simulator if you have those third-party apps. The ones that I have linked in the description down below. Ah, here we go. Another one landing, or attempting to land. Let's follow him, see where we end up. Yeah, I think he's going to try the proper way. You actually try to land from the mountains instead of from the water. Just in case you don't make it, you can at least pull up again right before you hit the water or the beach. But the proper way for a proper prop would be to come in from this area. Now obviously there are actually videos out there of people misjudging the length and the way of, well, the final approach here. You definitely want to stall your plane at the very last moment. I'd say you want to bush land it. I would do that at least. Trying to come in from a steep angle with a controlled stall. Full flaps, of course. And then by the end, I would just pop the flaps back to normal, where I lose lift at a low speed and just, you know, sets down the plane. And That way I control my lift with the flaps by not using the flaps by the touchdown or by the time. Look at that, he did a good job. That's how you're supposed to do. Well, he did a good job. And so are we. So far, we haven't crashed. A big difference for sure. I'm going to try to land here on the parking lot to our right, but we're going to swing around left. And that way, we sort of catch the momentum. Lift your eyes. I'm not going to be on a position here, but at least I'm going to try to land without the boom or bang. At least a hard bang. But there you go, guys. That's us flying around, talking a little bit about everything, as always. Do my pod simming. But yeah, you have the link in the description down below to those two third-party apps that I use for force feedback. And it does actually work in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And the one that I use currently is the one that is on top of there. It's the AirForce Player, and at least for me, works better in Microsoft Flight Simulator without having to deal with setups. Obviously, the other one has more, textures, actually a higher quality. It's just that I probably need to spend a lot more time on the setup before I can proper do a review for it, but at least here you can see I have much better control of the helicopter, and it's easy to enjoy it, for what it is, especially now that I turned all the aids off, so there's that. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching once again, and I will be signing off for now. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, unless you haven't already, and hit the thumbs up, as it does help for the YouTube algorithm a lot. And also hit the notification bell to catch up with me on future adventures. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell unless you haven't already, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one.